Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Blue Diaries, people. Episode 13. You know, we've got Nina today, Couch. Jimmy's going to be joining us shortly. AJ and also Winter Surfer will be here as well. I think they're just busy with work. But people, listen, end of the international break. Chelsea have a nice set of fixtures coming up. So I thought I'd get a solid panel together, speak about how we can start to score more goals, people, man. Because right now, I'll be real, I know we've had some tough fixtures, but we're not scoring as much as what we was at the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? And tactically, for me personally, I think Maresca can tweak things. So we'll get everyone's views on what we can do tactically. And at the same time, in terms of the teams that we're going to play coming up, people, man, because we've got, you know, easier set of fixtures coming up. And already we've got 140 people in the house. Big up to Rance for the raid. I was just on Rance's channel. Big him up. And big him up for the raid as well. You got Saeed, my favorite Chelsea pod. Listen, love my bro, man. Title talk. Listen, we're going to talk about that. We've got to talk about that, man, because we've got a lot of, like I said, favourable fixtures coming up. And right now, we're third. You know what I mean? I know it's only, 4 points between third and 13th or something, but the table don't lie. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, we're winning the London Cup. We're winning the London Cup.
Yeah, we're winning the London Cup right now.
Yeah.
But Nina, how you been, man? Long time since you've been on the channel. You good?
Yeah, I've been good, Don. Thanks for having me back on. Good, though I'm just waiting for Premier League to return because international break's been a bit dull. I mean, not too bad. I watched, what game did I watch? I watched England's game against the Republic of Ireland. Obviously, Maresca looks good, but that's about it. Nothing too exciting. Ready for Chelsea to be back.
100%, man. 100%. Jimmy, how you feeling, bro? You good?
Good, man. We here.
You're eating properly now. You're too chilled, yeah?
Break is a big waste.
100%. No more toothache for you. We munching on that.
Oh, something healthy. It's almost like rabbit chow. You don't want no parts of that.
What the fuck is rabbit chow, bro? About Couch, what you saying, man? You good?
Yeah, man. Everything good. Just got back off the road again, leaving again next week. It was a good distraction from that international break, though, because I didn't watch any football. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch a lick of it. So, yeah, happy to be here, and we just get into it, you know?
100%, man. 100%. So, listen, let's get straight into it, man, because we've got Leicester at the weekend. I'm actually going to be at the game. You going to be there, Nina?
No, I can't go to that one, but have fun.
Yeah, no, it should be a good game, man, because last time we were there, funny enough, I was actually at that game. When we finished 12th, we won that game 3-1. If you guys remember, Kai Havertz scored, Kovacic scored. That was one of the few wins that we got that season. You know what I mean? And for me, it's the first game of the weekend, 12:30 kickoff, I believe. We need to make sure that we're winning that game, Nina, because I can't be sitting there all weekend watching my ops winning or watching my ops drop points, and we're sitting there thinking, fuck, if only this guy scored his finish, you know, if only this guy took his opportunities, if only Sanchez didn't fuck up again, you know, if only Maresca did this better. Do you know what I'm saying? How are you feeling going into the game at the weekend, you know?
Yeah, do you know what? I think we always look a little bit better. Obviously, there's been quite a few international breaks since the start of the season. I think returning seems fine. It's just before the international break, we almost seem to leave it on a bit of a dull note, like Palace draw, Forest draw, Arsenal draw. But now, hopefully, get back into it. And like you said, results are so important from here on because, yes, we're third, but the difference in terms of points from third to 10th, 12th even is really not big. It's very marginal. So dropping points means potentially dropping a few spaces as soon as this weekend. So I really don't want that to happen. I think one thing we need is momentum in the league. I think that's one thing we're looking to kind of revive again because, yeah, it's good. We get results. We've been getting draws in games where we almost, again, could have lost. So that's a good thing. But I think wins is what we need right now to gain momentum, score a bit more goals and, hopefully solidify this top 4 spot we've got going on at the moment for ourselves.
100%. And how have you felt about these set of fixtures that we've had so far? Because for me, Nina, personally, I was saying I wanted to see 8 points, you know, from United, Newcastle, Arsenal. You had Liverpool as well. And if we beat United, we would have actually been on 8 points. And that was the game that I was looking at to say, yo, we can finally end that curse. You know what I mean? United right now aren't good. I know Ten Hag wasn't there, but they're still managerless, you know. I was seeing the same shit from them. We ended up fucking up ourselves by giving them a penalty. They didn't really do much away from that, in all honesty. You know what I'm saying? So looking at the points that we've got during the period, I'm a bit underwhelmed. But it's good that we're still in third place at the minute. How what did you expect over that? Are you happy with the fact that we only got 5 points? We expected more from that, or?
I mean, happy no, but I do hear what you're saying. I think United's one I look at and I think I'm frustrated we didn't walk away with more because we definitely could have. And the fact, I think, Don, that we have these expectations going into these games, like not just Man United, but against top 6 sides, that we can get something out of it is a real indication of how much we've improved under Maresca, because we're playing better football. So we're going into these games thinking we can get more out, we can walk away with a win. And the fact that we are competitive and we're showing we can come toe to toe, even though, don't get it twisted, we're still work in progress. We know that, but we've also surprised ourselves with how we've actually started out that season. I mean, I can speak for myself, and nobody expected a 6-2 win against Wolves at the start of the season. So that really did set things into perspective, and it showed exactly what we're capable of. And I think we've shown it. Yeah, Man United is a frustration, and I think that, we'll talk about kind of the detail and the ins and outs of why that game was not 3 points for us. And again, with Arsenal, I think there's certain tactical things we're seeing that are inhibiting our game moving forward a little bit. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, however, I won't get ahead of myself because it's so easy to change your expectations when you see how you start out. You see something good, even though I came into the season literally with no idea what to expect from Maresca, how we'd look under him, what sort of a football we'd play. So the fact that our expectations have risen because of how we've started is showing just how far we have come as a club. But we know that we still have work to do. We know that we need to improve to get and to beat the top 6 teams, and that is literally our target. But we've done well in most games, things to improve, but so far I'm happy because I didn't know what to expect this season.
No, 100%. And for me, I was quite lucky to obviously have Y Scouts, so I could watch Leicester's games back from last season. And I was telling everyone in the summer that I don't see a world where Maresca comes in and isn't able to work with the team that we've got right now. And for me, I said we'll get top 4 this season because we're going to beat a lot of the Leicester teams this year. Last year, Couch, we struggled against Brentford, we struggled to beat West Ham, we struggled to beat Wolves. All these little teams that we should have been beating, we didn't beat, right? And that's where you get top 4. In order to compete, you need to go a step further and get and beat the Arsenals, beat the Liverpools, beat the Man Cities. But how are you feeling going into this, these set of fixtures, Couch, that we've got coming up, man? And how do we need to start scoring again, bro?
Well, which one first? How do we start scoring? Okay, let's go into the fixtures because, for me, I was like you. I was very, very confident with what we had in management in terms of getting this team firing again. But the thing that I was always worried about, and still hasn't quite worked itself out, is whether or not they're going to be able to pick up the principles and get into his style of his philosophies fast enough for it to really matter. I was actually thinking we're not going to really see Maresca ball until December. So for me, I feel like we're way ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule. The fact that we've had the hardest fixtures over the first 10 games, and we're sitting third, regardless of how you want to look at it, whether it's third or, very close to whatever, 10th or whatever, it doesn't matter. We're sitting third. A lot of teams would envy being in this position right now after having the toughest fixtures. Now we go into a period where we're playing against, I don't want to say the lesser lights because there are no easy games in the Premier League, but these are games that we look at and we can say, yeah, we could probably, pick up some more points here and, kick on. And it's after this next period, the Christmas period, that I'm actually going to really be able to evaluate whether or not we are in this thing for real. I've been saying, I don't think that we're in the title race, but I also don't think we're out of it. You know what I mean? There's going to be a chunk of games here where you're talking 10, 11 games where if we pick up enough points, I mean, the truth is there. We're almost halfway through the season and you're there. You have to consider yourself in the title race if you are at that point in time. So this period is the evaluation for me. And a lot of it's going to come down to how we start, breaking down these low blocks, how we start, figuring out how to unlock these teams. And we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. Without doubt, it's going to come down to how we just unbalance the squad a bit, because I feel like right now Maresca prefers balance over, aggressivity in offensive tactics. And I'm with that too. I've been screaming for balance for years. But in some of these fixtures where you see teams are just camped out inside their 18, the spaces between the defenders are like 3 to 4 yards. It's very hard to score goals there. And the only way you really can impact the final third is if you have players in those areas who can manipulate those balls in those smaller spaces. So that, for me, number one, means we can't have Gusto operating as an auxiliary number 10. I know we've spoken on this many times before. And it means, taking the handbrake off and maybe playing somebody like Nkunku in behind, Jackson, and maybe having somebody like Palmer coming off the right. If you're looking for the overlap with our right back, I think that Gusto is not more natural in that position anyways, overlapping out wide rather than coming inside. So there is a natural blueprint for us to kick on and really threaten teams in the final third. But it just comes down to Maresca just being a little bit more brave, and
no, 100%. And just on that as well, you make some really good points, bro. Just to go through it so people are aware, yeah. So I'll just go through the Prem for now. So we've got Leicester, obviously this weekend. Then we've got Aston Villa at home. Then we've got Southampton away after that one. Then we've got Tottenham away. Brentford after that at home. Then we've got Everton away. Jimmy, going into this game at the weekends, this is a team that we should be scoring minimum 2 goals against. You know what I'm saying? I need to start seeing some goals again, people. We only scored 1 against Arsenal. We only scored 1 against United. We only scored 1 against Liverpool. It's been a minute since we've been scoring a lot of goals. You know what I'm saying? We scored 2 against Newcastle. Cool, fair enough. But Jimmy, how would you set up this weekend against Leicester, bro?
Everything like normal, except I would have but if Sancho's healthy, I'm starting Sancho on the left and Neto on the right.
You start Sancho left wing.
Mm-hmm.
How about Modric?
Who?
This guy, man.
Sancho's barely been back, bro. He's barely been back. So you're saying you'll bench Madueke then? Yeah, that's a massive talking point. Why would you bench Madueke right now, bro?
Not more of what Neto has done, less than what Madueke's hasn't. Because Madueke played good the other day. The little highlights I saw. Well, the extended highlights when they do the game in 30 minutes. I watched that on YouTube. They had it condensed to 30 minutes. And Madueke played good. He played good against who y'all played first?
Greece.
Against Greece. He played well against Greece. So, he's still there. He just need to he seemed to get motivated by competition. So give him some competition. Put him on the bench. You know what I mean? Let him come off the bench a game or 2 and play a role from there. Because I
reckon he's gonna start. Andrew, what are you saying, bro? Like, thanks for joining us, bro. What are you saying about Madueke, man? Would you start him for this game? Do you think he's gonna start as well?
I think he's gonna start him again because I don't think he's gonna. Even if Sancho is fit, Sancho's missed basically like a month of football. I don't think he's gonna rush it. He's been quite sensible not rushing people back after a period of being out. First of all, I think but he's got a chance with the amount of games we've got to play. He's got a chance to really rotate the squad a lot during the next few weeks. Especially with like Leicester coming up, and we've got Villa, like you said. Then we've got Southampton midweek before the Spurs game, so there's a chance to do a lot of rotation there. I think it's a chance for us to embrace the term flat track bully. So I want to embrace that because being flat track bully will get us more points than being great in top 6 games this season. Do you know what I mean? So I'd advise people, Chelsea fans, to embrace the term flat track bully, even about our players. I prefer our players to be flat track bullies in these games than to be outstanding in just 2 or 3 games a season. Do you know what I mean? That's what
that's how you definitely get top 4. That's how you get top 4.
Exactly. I would. People need to know. I think he needs to play Neto because Neto's even during the international break has been very good. So he needs to continue to play Neto. Whether he plays him on the right or left, he needs to continue to play him because he's in form. I don't know what the problem this game coming up. Our biggest problem this game coming up is not actually probably going to be scoring goals. It's what our central midfield is going to look like in terms of injuries and people getting back. in time to play. Because remember, guys, we're the first game up this weekend. We're 12:30 kickoff. For the lunchtime kickoff. We're not like late on Sunday. So Caicedo and Enzo, I'm getting back to about Thursday at the latest or something like that.
They always get back late. Couch, you tend to know these things, bro. Why is it that these South Americans come back late, bro? What's in there about it?
Well, it's a crazy flight, man, and like their games go on late, right? So what is like 12 o'clock for you guys is like what 7 o'clock for them? So
that's what it is, isn't it? Time difference.
It's the flights, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't. Then again, it's Leicester, so I know we should respect all opponents, but we should be getting past Leicester. You know how we're playing this. It's like I said. How you asked about getting scored again? I don't know. We have to look at the fixtures we've just come through. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We have to be honest with ourselves and go. You know, were we expecting to score more than 1 or 2 goals in those games? Those games are tight. We didn't play well in against United as well to score even more than 1 goal. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and against Arsenal, it was cagey. Do you know what I mean? We had the better chances, half chances, but again, and Liverpool, we got to take the fixtures and put them into realism and go, okay, so how many goals were we expecting to score? Because these games are going to be tight. It's now the run of form coming. It's now the run of games after this that we have to go. Okay, we should be expecting more than 1 goal. Maybe Villa game will be the tightest one out of the next 4 coming up, but you know, I don't think we have a big problem scoring goals.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, Nina, you know, going into this game at the weekends, it's Maresca's first game back. Do you think that's going to play a part in kind of putting us off our game, or do you think it's going to be sort of business as usual for us at the weekend?
It should be business as usual. I think in terms of, just to go back to the point about not really scoring that many goals off the back of the last few games, and I agree with Andrew that they have been cagey, but I also think, and I'm a firm believer, I mean, obviously there's a lot of talk about Cole Palmer recently and, you know, his form and why he's not been as involved in our attacks as usual. But I think it does kind of come from Maresca's tactical choice to play Gusto where he does. And I still don't really enjoy watching that. Him inverting doesn't work in midfield, because when he does invert, he occupies the space that Palmer's usually involved in. That's where he provides service to Jackson's and Madueke's, and he's not been able to do that because Gusto's in those spaces, and Gusto's not as comfortable feeding someone like a Madueke who gets frustrated with that. And you've seen it. I saw it against Manchester United, saw it against Arsenal as well, where it almost seems like we have this kind of lack of, like, there's this string that's just been cut off completely between midfield and attack. And Cole Palmer's been a massive component in that whole thing, and he's just been pushed onto the touchline where this has happened, and then he's not been able to provide much service to our left winger. So it kind of is this whole little tactical choice that has really broken things up, and we didn't see that at the start of that season, and that's where we were firing goals. So that is almost kind of taking out the threat from our attack a little bit with that choice. And yeah, maybe it's got to do with Reece James not being, you know, completely fully fit to be going up and down, but Gusto just doesn't look comfortable in that role. And I think Maresca should drop this act. Yeah, I get that he's experimenting things. That's great to see. He's still like working out his system and his style. You know, it's literally been 11 games into the season, but I just don't think it works. And you see Madueke's frustrated. Pedro Neto managed to work this moment of magic to unlock Arsenal for that equaliser, which was great. I think it was, again, individual brilliance, and also just taking it upon yourself to take a risk in a game where we really needed it to actually get something and walk away with a point from that game. So I think that's a struggle. So Maresca's got something to look at. Leicester's obviously a team that he's going to be quite emotionally connected to as well. I think we need to take that into consideration. So it'll be interesting to know, because he knows Leicester so well from his tenure there, but also he's still working out Chelsea. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of how he sets us up against the team that he's managed and, you know, done a decent maybe job there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
100%, man. And the guy that's come in, what's the guy's name that they're managing now? Leicester's manager. I forgot his name. He was at Forest. What's his name again? Steve Cooper. That's it. Steve Cooper. Yeah. He's come in and he's basically kind of doing the same sort of thing that Maresca was doing there. In terms of the inverting of Ricardo Pereira, that's not something that Cooper does, because Cooper's a bit of a dinosaur, you know what I mean? But you touch upon some good points, because we've spoken about it a lot, Nina, about, you know, Palmer being moved from his best position on the right. Now you've got Gusto, who keeps getting the ball in dangerous positions, but again, he's not doing enough in that role for me. It's quite similar to what I was seeing at the start of the season. You had Palmer in the right half space, but you had Enzo in the left half space. And for me, I didn't like him playing there because there's so many other options. I would rather play in that position. Now the problem has been moved from the left to the right. You know what I'm saying? So that needs to be changed up. But AJ, how you feeling, man? How you feeling going into the weekend, bro?
Big up the chat, big up the panel. I'm not sure, I think just based on the team and the form this year, this is a game we should be winning, period. There's no excuse. We need to keep the momentum. It's always tough coming back from that international break. It's always like a tricky situation. So hopefully we could get through that. But, if we want to keep this top four ambition going, you see how tight the table is. We have no room for error, really, especially against Leicester. No disrespect to them, but the situation that we're in requires us to get these 3 points. So I mean, the team news, we don't know for sure. I guess we'll hear, maybe closer to the weekend, but we're hearing stuff about people might be out. It could be just media stuff, clickbait.
I'm almost confirmed that Caicedo starts. He always starts.
You never know. You never know what's going on. It's not till we hear the press conference and we actually see, what's going on in training and stuff. So, I mean, right now I'm calm. I'm calm because at the end of the day, I still think we have the tools to beat Leicester. We have a deep squad, especially in the attack. We need to be getting these games, over the line. Because we should have beat one of Arsenal or United. We played well against Liverpool. We beat Newcastle, so we're in a decent place. But we got to keep the momentum, especially this part of the season. Where we're playing teams that are quote unquote lower. So
no, 100%, bro. On couch going into this period, for me, what's going to be very important for Maresca, we've spoken about it, is the use of the bench, bro. Yeah, free Nkuku. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, free Felix. Yeah, free Dewsbury Hall. Free all these man. All these man now, couch, need to start getting used, bro. You know what I mean?
Dewsbury, slow down on the Dewsbury Hall thing, but
it's a homecoming. It's a homecoming, man. Free him.
But no, you're right. Like I just think that if Maresca wants to survive this period without any serious setbacks, injuries and whatnot, he's gonna have to use the bench. Like there's just no denying it. He's been basically preaching this from the beginning of the season that the games are going to pick up in December and we have to use the squad. There's going to be more games for everybody. So this is the period to see exactly how he sees this squad, how he sees this team, and this is the period to show the strength and depth that we have. There's no reason why we shouldn't be using 17 players over the next month and a half. 17, 18 players. And the thing that has always been bothering me, and I know we spoke about it, I just think that we have a team that is an attacking team. For the most part, the team that we've assembled, rightly or wrongly, is an attacking team. The players on the bench, for the most part, are attackers. So there should be no reason why we don't change tactics within the game, find players because it's not like we have a like for like in every position. You have different players that can give you different things in different games, right? So for me, it has to be about using the squad depth and you playing to the strength of the team, which is basically attacking right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we approach these games. I'm looking forward to seeing how Maresca uses more of the team, because it has to be more than the players that he trusts now. He has to use the strength of this team right now.
100%. Jimmy, man, what have you got to add to that, bro?
I think we should remember that this is Maresca's first time facing a lot of these teams. So the first time he faced these teams, you might see something that looks just like the norm. And even though it might not be working, he might not switch it because he might stick to it and say, I want to see what it looks like for 490. Because I have to come around and see them again. It's the first time. I'm not going to show you everything the first time I fight you. If I know I got to fight you twice, I'm not showing you everything the first time I fight you. So if we in a fight,
do you think it's more of a trusting one? Do you think he needs to trust them more right now?
I think it's more of I'm still trying to implement my way. So before I start trying to teach them to box left-handed, let them master the right hand. You know what I mean? So at least I'm not saying that's not necessarily what's going on. I'm just thinking, because I hear a lot of people saying, like they expect this adjustment and that adjustment. I get it if this was like, his second time facing these guys, or if he's been in the Prem for a while and he know what it is. Like he don't really know what he's facing a lot of these teams for the first time. So he's gonna come in with his tactic, his style, his basic, his thesis, what he normally come in with, and see if it works. Now, if it don't work, then the second time around he got something to go back to. Right now, he's just working off of this is my first time playing them. I'm gonna give them my style, and as long as we're still in the game is still within reach. I'm gonna keep it my style because none of the games have gotten out of hand. No game that I can't think of has gotten out of hand. Every game this year we have been in and have an opportunity to either draw or win the game. I'll say win. Every game this year, I can't think of a game that I didn't feel like we did not have a chance to win. Even Liverpool, when we were down 2-1, I still was in my mind like, shit, we could win this game. I'm not even joking. I said to myself, we could win this game. We can win this game because I have that much faith in our attack. So I don't know. I'll save my judgment for Maresca for the second time around. Like some of the judgments,
that's fair.
Even with that,
fair,
like he's very into the tactics. Like in the 10 games that we played, he's very into the tactics. Even within those 10 games, significantly.
But my point is, I don't think he goes into each game like with the same plan. I think whatever he plans,
that's true.
From the start, this is what I'm going with, and as long as I'm within reach, this is what I'm sticking with.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna adjust too far. Now I'll love to see what he do with a lot of these teams the second time around because
100%.
Teams haven't really
you make some good points.
Teams haven't really got to see his adjustments yet. So
yeah,
So I'll love to see that.
No, you definitely make a good point. Like, yeah, it is his first time sort of playing these guys. He's going to learn as he gets more experience in the league and so on. But the Prem is a dangerous place, Jimmy. Yeah, you need to learn quick. You know what I mean? Yeah, and we spend a lot of money on the depth, Nina. We need to be using that bench, Nina. You know what I'm saying? What have you thought about his in-game management so far from what you've seen?
Yeah, no, I agree with Jimmy about, his in-game management has been great, but I think he's also shown that he can adapt it during games when things are not quite going to plan. Like even Brighton, such a good game for us where we won 4-2. In the first half when we conceded first, we were experiencing quite a lot of problems and Maresca actually changed things up and that's why we were the more dominant team. We won that game. He's shown that he can actually really change things and I love that. I think sometimes managers come in, especially in their first seasons, and are just so eager to get their stamp on the team, get their style and, almost their brand on the football, that they almost risk all kind of what's the word? Like they get too ahead of themselves and Maresca's not doing that. I really love the fact that he's just taking his time and even in press conferences when, we have a really good game where people are asking the bigger questions, are you, top 4 in Champions League and are you in a title race? And he's really just taking it game by game and he knows what the plan here at Chelsea is. And I think that's so good that you're realistic and you know exactly how and what you're doing with this team. And I mean, last season, guys, did we even know what Poch was doing? Every single lineup was different. It was chop and change, no sequence, no continuity to anything. It was like this guy was just trying to survive from game in, game out, and maybe a player bailed him out eventually. But Maresca actually has a game plan, and we're seeing it. We know we look at ourselves on the pitch, which means that we're getting our identity back slowly. So all these things that Maresca slowly bringing back that were taken away from us since the change of ownership is a really big deal. So take the small wins as well. That's what I'm doing when I watch Chelsea play. So yeah, there's some real positives. So there is reason to be optimistic optimistic about a season where we came in not really knowing. Maresca's not exactly a manager that's in the top 5, is he? Like, you don't look at him and you think, wow, this is a manager that's done so much, but he's someone that's come in, taken this really tough job and inherited a squad, like you say, Don, that we've paid a lot of money for. There is a lot of talent in there. So yeah, you've got to combine your managerial sort of stamp, but you also have to actually make do with the talent we've brought in. And, you know, Couch was saying earlier, we have a lot of different attacking players, and I think each one has a different strength. Maresca's still yet to unlock our best attack. You know, it looks like we have so many positive options, which is great, but he is still experimenting, because we even see Pedro Neto wasn't a Premier League starter at the start of the season, but what did he do? He showed with performances and with goals here and there that he's a player worthy and, you know, of kind of getting a start in the Premier League, and now he is. Madueke equally, when he scored his hat-trick against Wolves, we looked at him and Maresca said, right, you get game time from here on. So it's like no one's spot is guaranteed, but if you perform and you play well, then Maresca will actually give you game time, see how you play, how you like form chemistry with other players. And yeah, you know, Joao Felix, you mentioned, in Kunku earlier, these are still other options that didn't necessarily come in to be team B players or B bench players. Of course, they also want to be playing regularly, but it's all about kind of them showing why they should start. And I think that's so refreshing, because let's be real, last season before, we were like almost out of options up front. Goal scoring did not come naturally. We were really struggling in a lot of these games, and the fact that we're able to see a variety of different scorers is really refreshing. So again, these are all just positive inclines from last season.
No, 100%. You make some really good points. Go on, AJ.
No, I agree. You know, we do have the strength in numbers, and we are showing that gradual progress. You know, and like Nina said, we have to take those small wins as a club, because, you know, we were in the trenches for like the past 2 seasons, and it was really tough to just formulate something like that looks cohesive and looks like we can build upon. Only that little end piece of Pochettino's reign, it was something, but even that kind of looked not really sustainable. So, you know, Maresca's done a great job. You know, nobody can say that he's not doing a great job. Nobody can say Maresca out, all of that stuff. We don't hear that stuff anymore, and that's a win for me, because that was just annoying as hell.
Oh, you do. You had a few people saying, you know, calling for his head after this period, you know, and for me, like I've said, I wanted to see more from him. I rate Maresca, you know what I mean? But you're always gonna get them little weasels, always waiting to just say something mad, you know what I mean? And it's weird.
That's wild. It's weird. You can't take that seriously. Like, it's just so wild to me.
It is. You know what I mean? It's a shame we've got to share a platform with these people, man. You know what I'm saying, Andrew? But listen, let's talk about our player of the season so far, man. Andrew, who would you say has been your player of the season so far, bro?
Robert Sanchez? Is that what you're talking about?
I knew that was going to happen.
That's
I knew
funny.
it. You just couldn't allow it.
No, it's obviously Caicedo by a very long distance. He is, I can't. I think of his last bad performance for me was probably first off at Wolves, and then from then it's been like very consistent and very good. He imposed himself in midfield. He wins balls in every area of the pitch. You know, he even supplies a couple of assists here and there this season. He's just all round. I'm not going to compare him to any other player. I know other people might do, but he is established himself as one of the best in the league right now. I even think he's better than Gravenberch this season, and Gravenberch played very well this season. I think he's just all round. He's a very, very good player. And no one mentions his price tag anymore, not even the most staunchest of Chelsea fans who don't like the way we spend and something like that. No one's getting on him. He is the leader of that team. I would actually, when Reece doesn't play, I'd make him captain. That's how much he's impressed me this season. He is a leader, and he's only 21, 22 years old. And I
23 now.
Everyone's worried when Cole Palmer gets injured or something. I'm worried if this guy gets injured. I swear to you right now. I hope we wrap him up in vibranium. I hope we put him in a freezer, like a cold machine during each game, and unfreeze him before, something like that. I just want this guy protected at all costs because he is the engine, he's the heartbeat of this team this season. He is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And when he plays, whoever we go up against, I'm more confident that we're going to get something when he plays. No matter who's beside him in midfield, I think he's been absolutely brilliant this season. And there's no, and I think he can get better. He can get better. That's the scary thing with this guy. He can get better.
Bro, he can start to score more goals. He can start to create more because for me, like I've said from day one, his best position is as a box to box, right? And if you go do some research, when he was playing in Ecuador, he was playing as an 8. It's De Zerbi that moved him into a pivot with like McAllister. You had what's the other guy that went Dortmund? I forgot his name now, but you know what I'm getting at, right? So he got moved to a 6 a little bit later on. But listen, it was a shame last year seeing him playing in that space. I used to call it Poch's Island couch, you know what I mean? And even though he was in Poch's Island, yes, he had a shit start, but he was still doing enough to help us win games or see out draws or not get battered. Because last year, defensively and the shape, the structure was all over the place, bro. What would you say he's sort of improved in his game this year where he's actually gone up a level, bro? Because for me, it's very clear that he's not rash anymore. Would you say that structurally, that's the main reason why, or do you think individually he's just improved?
I just think the game slowed down for him. The game has slowed down for him. And where he used to be real rash in the tackle. That was the one thing I was really pissing me off last year. He would just be thinking that he could win every tackle regardless of where he is on the pitch. And that led to a lot of yellow cards. That led to us being, caught out free kicks and whatnot. But this season, he's just slowed the game down a bit. And maybe that is just down to Maresca's tactics. Maybe that is down to just Maresca just peeking to him. Or maybe that's just down to maturity. The guy that is now settled into the side, settled into the squad, and is finding his footing, right? But there's no denying his talent. Like, with even when he was rash, he was getting in positions where you didn't expect him to be in because he was just so good at reading where he needed to be. But, he just wasn't very clean at tackling. I think that he's improved that, and I think that he's improved the decision-making as to when to go in and when to just hold his position and then, try and snipe in and win the ball. So, maturity, I think, is a big piece. But, of course, having Lavia beside him has helped. I think that he's a little bit more secure in when he can go because he knows he has somebody next to him that is just as sound defensively and can make plays for him as well. So, yeah, it's a multitude of things, but he's been fantastic. There's no doubt about it. But with that said, I don't think that when we're talking about man of the or player of the season and whatnot, as much as I believe that he is that guy right now, I don't think that we are where we are right now without having more than one good performance. Like, he may be the player of the season, but he's not the only one. There's a lot of guys that you could attach that, assign that title to right now, as far as I'm concerned. At least 2 or 3 other ones.
Who would you put in there?
Well, obviously Cole Palmer is still one of those guys for me. I would also say that,
Cucurella's been good when he's
Cucurella's been good. I was going to say Colwell, but he's kind of fallen off a bit the last little while, the last couple of games and whatnot. But the early parts of the season, he's been quite good, and he's given us a defensive solidity or a defensive solidity in the back that we hadn't had even last year, outside of when Thiago Silva was in his pomp and whatnot. So, there's a lot of players that I think that have contributed to where we are right now. But without question, I think that it's easiest to say that Caicedo's made the biggest sort of contribution at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad that you mentioned Cole because for me, at the beginning of the season, before Liverpool, he was definitely our best player. He was flawless. Apart from that Haaland goal that we conceded at the bridge, I thought he was brilliant. You know what I mean? And the stats show what my eyes are showing me as well. You know what I mean? AJ, who else would you put in there, bro? Away from Caicedo, if you want to add anything on what you thought of Caicedo so far, you can as well, bro. But who else would you add into that list?
I think we pretty much hit the nail. Nina added Cucurella. I think that was a good shout. But Caicedo, basically what Couch said is facts, but I do think the structure and the setup of the team has also played a big factor in that because, we all experienced Pochettino last year and, it was kind of like a wild open basketball type of game, So as a central midfielder, it's very tough to thrive in that type of setup because you're just so exposed from all sides of the field, you know. So I think that, you know, that's a massive factor. And I think that's something that Maresca has just brought to the club. You know, we've brought a sense of stability and, you know, being comfortable in the positions that we're playing in. You know, we witnessed so many players last year play out of position, you know. So, you know, that's a big part of, you know, Caicedo just feeling comfortable, understanding clearly his role, knowing what he's supposed to do, the person next to him knowing what they're supposed to do, you know. And then on top of that, he's just a year older. He's just a better player. So I think Caicedo got it.
I also think that the captain armband has turned him into a bit of a different player. Like, I saw this at the bridge when I was there. As soon as he like won a tackle, and it was a very good clean tackle, everyone obviously went mad, and he was like edging the crowd on. He loved it, and honestly, I think that. Yeah. Did you see that? You did. I picked up on it straight away, and I was like, "Where's this fiery guy been recently?" And he was just a different player. And I think, you know, the fact that the fans are slowly getting on board with what he can do and how much he's improved has really just edged him on more, and his confidence has risen. And, you know, I agree with both everyone's points just raised about him, that, you know, the reason he was such a good player at Brighton was because he was playing in like a cohesive system where players around him were working for each other. He was dropped into a shambolic midfield at Chelsea where things were changing week in, week out, and the environment was just so toxic that, you know, how can a young player, because he's still young, of that price tag really flourish? He was almost set up to fail from the get-go when he arrived. But I'm really glad that we all sort of were patient with him, because, like someone mentioned earlier, nobody's talking about the price tag anymore. You don't hear it, but you heard it every single game last season at the end. You know, you're a 120 million pound player. So, you know, the fact that he's improved and he believes it, and his confidence has improved so much, only encourages him to go in for those challenges, but time them well, you know, be on board with the players he's got to mark. And I think that one thing that obviously has maybe limited his game as well is we brought in Caicedo to elevate Enzo Fernandez's game, and because that hadn't really happened as well as we hoped, I think that was another thing that almost inhibited the two of them, because we were praying so bad that the two of them would work out as such a good pair in midfield. You know, when we brought them, they were literally meant to be ranked among the top three like midfields in the Prem, and that really quickly turned out to be quite the opposite. So I think the fact that that didn't work out also maybe dampened them both individually as well. But I think, you know, Caicedo's come out of his show, and it's all a testament to, Maresca, absolutely. But I also think individually he's really tried to improve massively, and he has.
No, 100%. I'm glad that you spoke about the fact that he was pumping up the crowd, because Caicedo seems like a humble, sort of quiet.
Yeah, he was guy. Like, go on, guys.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But now he's at Yard. You know what I mean? He's comfortable now. He's moved from Brighton. I know Brighton to London's not far, but he's probably moved house. You know what I'm saying? He's playing at a bigger club now. He knows he's one of the go-to guys. I remember the game after United. Maresca was talking to him after the game, and that moment for me was like, wow, because I was looking at Caicedo, and he just looks like he was ready to play again straight away. He didn't look happy. He didn't look happy that we drew that game. You know what I'm saying? And you make a really good point about Brighton, because that's something that I kept speaking about. When you watch Brighton, Caicedo always had passing options. Every single time you'd look up, McAllister's there, Pascal Gross is there. There's always someone to combine with. Caicedo's not that type of guy to get the ball and just run past everyone. He's not Hazard. Yeah, he needs to combine with people. Do you know what I mean? And if you expect him to just, you know, defend all this space, he's not an octopus. And that's where AJ speaks about poch tax. That structure was fucked. It did not help us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, left him on an island by himself.
Exactly, bro. But listen, we've got 317 people in the house. Let me see how many likes we're on, people, man. So we're on 132 likes, people. Let's get up to 200, man, as soon as possible. We literally take 2 seconds, people. Free content, you know what I'm saying? But Jimmy, what are you saying about Cucurella this season, man? Because this is a guy who came into the club, you know, with a massive price tag, in all honesty. Personally, I was jealous when I saw that he was about to join Man City, because I rated his time at Brighton. He was creating a lot of chances for them. Very technical, very good in build-up. The modern type of fullback that you want. Obviously, Chelsea come in, didn't have the best first season, in all honesty. I remember his debut. He came on, he did pretty well when he came on. But overall, he had a lot of things going on off the pitch. You know, his house got burgled. He was ill. He had tonsillitis. Obviously, he was playing with a bunch of players that didn't want to be at the club anymore. Being managed by Graham Potter that couldn't manage that big squad. But now he's coming into his own, bro. You know, you're looking at one of the best left backs, not just in the Prem, but in the world.
In the world, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In the world.
What have you thought about him this season, bro?
Cucurella, in the last season, going into the Euros, and even up to now, it's been the same Cucurella, been one of the best left backs in the world. If Cucurella played for other teams, like, this is my thing about Chelsea. I always say this. Chelsea fan base, we do the worst job propping our players.
Yep.
We do the worst job. If Cucurella played for any other one of the traditional top 6, Newcastle, anywhere, he would be the biggest thing right now. But Chelsea fans act like Cucurella is not that guy. It's like they're waiting for him to have a bad game to say, see, he's not that guy. When the last time he had a bad game? You can't even name. I can't even tell you the last time he had a bad game. But when he does have a bad game, they're gonna act like he had 20 of them. I love Cucurella. I love everything. Yep. I see people bitch about, oh, he gets yellow cards and all that. You need people like him. You remember Scarface? You need people like me. You need people like Cucurella. You need those fiery guys. You need guys. Everybody can't be a goddamn straight and narrow. You need those fiery guys. You need those guys, and that's what he does. He plays with a lot of passion, with a lot of heart. Like, even when he's having a bad game, you don't really see no quit in him. None of that. Like, I love the way Cucurella.
He's our Azpilicueta. That's what he is.
He really is. He really is. He really is. Like, I love the way he play, and he's low key. He's like a leader, and he ain't gotta be no. Like, he leads by example. He's a lead to me from watching from the outside looking in, because I'm not in the locker room. From the outside looking in, he looked like a leader. When the person is vocal, he's always the one in the ref face. That's leadership. That's speaking up for your players, speaking up for your guys. Like, that's leadership to me. I love Cucurella. Like I said, if Cucurella play, look how our fan base cream all in their pants when Lewis Hall have a good game. Or Livramento have a good game. Neither one of them is nowhere near Cucurella levels. They cream all over themselves when these dudes have a decent game. But Cucurella have a good game, our fan base be like, oh yeah, he's, you know.
This is the thing. This is the thing, though. You touch upon some good points, AJ, because I'm sick and tired of these guys in the fan base, that are scared to prop the players because of rivals. Yeah, we've been in the mud, so now they're scared to even say, yo, this guy right now is the best left back in the league, or, you know, we've got one of the best left backs in the world right now. Cucurella is that right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know?
One thing I have to say is, have we used Cucurella in the best way so far this season in terms of that inverting? You know, because that's what he was really doing, you know, for Spain earlier for a preseason, you know. So I'm not really sure. Can we still get another level out of Cucurella? That's what I'm really looking into.
I don't know if that's the best for the team going forward, though.
Yeah, but he's had games where he's inverted too. He's had game where he looked like he's been playing almost to 10.
He's our best inverted. He's our best inverted.
Well inverted. Yeah.
But we don't do it consistent with him. It's been gusto, you know.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, as far as like the final third, exactly. It's exactly
the same thing.
It just doesn't
do a little bit more quality with Cucurella's passing in the final third.
Nah, it's the same thing.
I don't know.
To Gusto, there's no way.
But here's the problem. Cucurella cannot get back like Gusto.
I agree with that.
So that's.
Can Reece James get back?
Well, not right now. You don't even want to risk it. I think he can, but you don't even want to risk it right now.
I think we're at a point where we have to put him in that spot.
No, we're not at that point. No, we're not. Why are y'all rushing? No, we're nowhere near that point.
You think we're rushing?
The title in week 12? Like, yeah.
I'm not trying to win the title. I'm trying to win big games.
But we're fine. So this is what I be talking about when I say we're rushing. You don't.
I'm just asking you. He's been fit for about 2-3 months now.
This is a process. There's no reason to rush anything. If it takes the whole season, then give it the whole season. If you can get a complete season out of Reece James, you take that. Even if it means he don't have to invert and do all of that. You take that because he's going to be quality.
So you think we shouldn't try it at all this season? That's what you're saying.
I'm saying they should try it when they say he's up for it. When they say.
So you're saying the same thing.
I don't think nobody from the outside should have any idea or anything. I think it's time.
I don't have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. When they do it, I think that's when he's ready.
But I'm just asking the question: do you think that's the final level? Like, is he the one that's supposed to be there?
Oh, without doubt, without doubt.
In that spot with Gusto, of course.
Again, that position's tailor made for somebody like Reece James.
Oh my God! Could you imagine? He can score from
everything.
There,
his ball striking, his crossing, his ball, his through balls, like everything, like the way he thinks the game it's tailor made for that position.
He's a triple threat from there.
It's just fitness. Like we're talking about fitness, and I don't know if he's had like 2.5 years of like injuries and whatnot. I don't know if we're in a position right now where we can actually wrap him in cotton wool, take our time with him because we're in a good position in the league right now. We're winning games. We have the next 10 games or whatever are supposed to be light in the schedule. We don't necessarily have to pull that trigger yet. I'm with you though, AJ. I think, that's the answer to what we want to do in the final third. Like having somebody in that position like Reece James who could just basically dictate what we want to do in the final third, make the right decisions at the right time. Ball striking ability. My gosh, I'm waiting for it, but again, I don't want him to rush back and then get injured again because the next time is going to be the last time.
If we get to the last 5 games and it's a tight race, I'll do it then. I'll risk it then because now it's like, all right, now it's do or die. Reece, we need you. You feel what I'm saying? But now
I'd even do it 15 games before, like 10, 15 games.
That's my thing. I just want to know.
If I'm in it, if we in it at 10 to 15 games.
I'm talking about top 4. I'm talking about top 4. Title, yes.
I'm
talking about top 4.
Yeah.
Title, yes. If it's 10 games left and I'm in the title race, look, I'm going for it.
Absolutely.
You don't get that twice. Sometimes you don't get that twice. I'm going for it.
No, 100%. And thing is, Andrew, for me, like with Cucurella, for me, I keep saying he's our best inverter, but Chi-Town, he said something that we've all kind of spoken about here with Cucu inverting. It means that Cole is now defending the wide areas, bro. Is that a risk that you would take? Because listen, we know how Cole gets cooked in the wide areas, bro.
Yeah, so I think I would take that risk because Cucurella's not going to be – because Cucurella can do both roles at the same time, right? He can stay back, go out wide and invert. It's only in special cases like up against the Saka where he can't invert because he's doing basically a man marking role all game. So it's only really a few games where you're gonna get that. Now there are other talented wingers, I agree, but he can do both. He can do both roles if you need him to do so. We saw it multiple times last season. We've seen it for Spain. He did it during the Euros. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that. He doesn't also he also doesn't get up in an overlap or underlap a lot either. So he's not as if he's like out of position all the time. He's very, we usually leave that to the right hand side or the wingers or anything to do that. But he does break up a lot of play. We saw that even with his man marking role against Saka. He was obviously he's first a few times to break up any Arsenal attacks and stuff. But he can definitely do it. I'm thoroughly enjoying this redemption arc of his. You know what I mean? I'm thoroughly enjoying. I'm just thinking we were literally the one thing. Apologies. One of the good things that Poch did last season was remember when he was linked to Man United on loan and then he played him in the League Cup, so he effectively cup-tied Cucurella for the League Cup, so that loan deal was then like taken off the table. So it was actually one of the few good things that Poch did last season, and he did credit to him. He did start to invert him on that role, but he's been, he's up there for players of the season so far. Cucurella, in my opinion, he's very good. He's just solid. Do you know what I mean? And with him him getting picked regularly, it means we get sort of a relationship in terms of a back four that we haven't had for the past 2 years. Where we have a foundation there. Whether you're slotting in one or the other, but another centre back with Colwell or something like that. But it's now beginning. We're getting the foundations. We're getting sort of he's now what I like to call. He's now probably for me. He's like part of the spine now of this Chelsea team that's developing. Cucurella is one of the names on there that if we get him when he's fit and he's available, he should play, because I don't like Gusto at left back.
No.
Like we played him after Cucurella got suspended. I just don't like it, and I like him in the inverted role more than Gusto, because when Gusto goes on the left foot, you might as well just give the ball back to the other team, because his left foot is horrendous. You know what I mean? So, but he's played very well this season. So.
No, 100%, man. And listen, just to finish off, I wanted to basically, we'll go to you first. How many points do you think we need to get in this period that we've got coming up? How many points is acceptable for you? So let me just read out these fixtures again, people, so everyone's aware. Let's wait for it to load up. So we've got Leicester, Aston Villa. I'll do the next 5 games, yeah? So Leicester, Aston Villa, Southampton, Tottenham. Should we go through one by one, yeah?
Leicester and Southampton are games I look at and I think we have to get 3 points. It's not disrespecting the opponent. It's simply recognizing that, these are teams that last season we would have struggled against and would have dropped points. And we're trying to improve on that, aren't we? We're trying to get back into winning. And I said, if we want to hold on to that top 4 spot, we have to win games. We have to get into a bit of a momentum, because there are other teams I look at sort of just below us or in the kind of the top 10 that still also can improve, can win games and can show something. And I think that it's really important that we hold on to ours and we continue this momentum. Villa, even though Villa have had up and down results, I think Aston Villa have done wonders with their squad. They've got good players. They can grind out results. We couldn't beat 10-man Villa at Stamford Bridge last season. So again, we're looking at that game and thinking we need to win. We need to get a result, but it could be a tough one. I would like to say, though, that, again, if we are looking on improving and building, then that should be 3 points. But I do see it also tripping us up a little bit and potentially being a draw. But, again, I think that I look at Tottenham away last year. We all remember that was one of my favourite weeks at Chelsea. Because we beat Tottenham 4-1 and then topped it off with a thriller against Man City 4-4. So that was a pretty good week for us. But, again, it was a 9-man Tottenham. And, again, they caused us a little bit of trouble because they continued that high line. But I look at Tottenham, I look at the results we've had even in our tough seasons. If we've beaten them in our tough seasons, we should be getting a result against them too. That being said, Tottenham are among the top scorers. I think they are top scorers in the league, which is bizarre because obviously they're a lot further down and they've had certain results go against them, and there's big questions, and they've lost a little bit of faith in Ange as well. But that's always a derby, and with derbies we always turn up. Pardon?
They've got no Bentancur for that game as well, Nina. They've got no Bentancur. He's gone.
Yeah, he's suspended. Was it 7-8 games or something like that? So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt. But again, I never go into a London derby or a Chelsea Tottenham game and think, oh, I'm not too sure about this one and we might lose. I go in wanting to win, right? We all do. It's a derby at the end of the day. Really good results against them last season. So what should be the excuse this season? So again, I've just gone through 4 games where on paper they are winnable. It is all about us actually just executing our game plan, scoring our goals. And I think this is a real indication, those 4 games, we get results, just how serious we are about top 4. Not just because of the opposition, but because we can grind out results. We were so inconsistent with results last season. So even 4 games in the Premier League, that's already a massive step forward. And then we can sort of take it as it comes. And the fact that, obviously Astana, Heidenheim, these games that we'll play midweek. We've got almost 2 teams that we're playing here, and we can almost afford to kind of rotate and let the sort of the starting 11 or the A team, as we're calling it, kind of rest and reset. But when it comes to next season and we are hopefully back in Champions League football, we're not necessarily going to have that, because you're going to have to play 2 games a week. You're going to have to pull your weight and play 2 games a week. At the end of the day, that's what we want, right? Top players play 2 games a week. They win twice a week. So, absolutely a must. But again, we'll appreciate the process till then. Just focus on the games as they come. We can rotate and see who plays where. But those are winnable games on paper. But we know football's not played on paper, but we should have the quality and confidence to win.
Yeah. So out of those 6 games, that's 18 points, right? So Everton, Brentford, and then the teams that you've just said there. How many points Nina, you personally, how many points are you saying that this team need to get?
out of what, the next 6 games? Are we saying?
Out of the next
Out
6
of
games, that's 18 points. Out of the next 6 games. So Everton, Brentford, Tottenham,
Okay, so I just
Southampton,
said.
Aston Villa, Leicester.
Okay, let me do my math here. Put them on the spot. So Leicester, I say 3 points is a must. I say potentially Aston Villa is a game that could trip us up. So maybe that could be a draw. Southampton has to be a win. Tottenham, I think, could be a win. So that's what we're looking. 9, 10 with the Aston Villa game. That's 10 points there out of the possible. Oh, putting me on the spot here, Don. I'm not liking this. Someone help me out.
No, that was
So I'd go-
It's been a long day. It's 8 p.m., guys.
AJ, what do you say? How many points do you want to see? I see Nina. Nina's got PTSD still, people.
Nina was on point. How are you talking? These you including Brentford and
Yeah, including Brentford and Everton because they're part of this running,
games, right? So out of 18 points for me, out of those games, we got to get 18 points. That's how I'm coming. If we get 15, then I'm cool with that. But I think 18 is something that we need to go after.
Is the thing.
So minimum
is the
15.
thing.
Minimum 15. How about you, Andrew?
Is the thing. Leicester, Southampton, no brainer. Should be 6 points. 3 points in those games each. Always at Spurs, it should be 6 points, no matter if we're home or away. It should be because we own them, so that should be 9 points. Villa, we got a relatively good record at home against Villa. I know last season we lost, but we had Gusto sent off as well, and that was one of Sterling's non-pass games as well, when he had someone to his right and he didn't pass to them for an easy tap in. So, if you remember, so I think we should beat Villa because they're on about a 5-game losing streak as well. Now, people are going to be wild when I say this. We've never beaten Brentford at home in the Premier League. Yeah. We've never beaten them. They're undefeated at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, they're undefeated at Stamford. But that was away at theirs. I'm talking at home at Stamford Bridge. We've never beaten them at home at Stamford Bridge since they come up. And people are going to have to research this. People are going to have to, and we should. But they're a good team to start with. But we should be able to beat them. The other thing is, our record at Everton is horrendous. Okay, it is horrendous. People talk about our record at Newcastle. Our record at Everton is worse than it is at Newcastle. Yeah, I've seen us go up there with our championship winning teams and we lose or we drop points. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Man United records. It's worse than going up at United. I swear to you right now. But we should be always trying to win. So the only this is going to sound mad. Out of those 6 games, the only 2 games I'm worried about is Brentford and Everton, because of our records against them. That's the
Brentford, bro. That's the game. Brentford, when fucking Gusto and Reece James were both on the bench. He started Disasi at right back at home. You know what I'm saying? You had Sterling leaving Cucurella.
Was that the game after Arsenal? Was that the game after Arsenal when we drew?
The game after Arsenal. It was the game after Arsenal. And then when we played them away, I was at that game and I was shouting. I remember I was so angry. Man. That's the game when he fucking started 2 attackers again. Yeah, I think he dropped Sterling. He started like just some defensive lineup. And then when we conceded, he decides to bring them all on. We end up scoring at the end. Cole Palmer gets an assist for Disasi.
And at home, we battered them in the first half. We battered them at home in the first half. And it was 0-0. We couldn't finish. And then we lost 2-0 at home to them.
We lost 2-0 at home. He brought on Reece James with like 5 minutes to go. With like 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go. We're just lobbing in crosses. It was a waste of time. It was shit. But Jimmy, man, what are you saying, bro? How many points?
Wait. So Andrew, what you saying? How many points do you expect?
How many points?
Listen, I'm gonna go all out and say 16 to 18. But please keep those. That's just my heart overall in my head.
I'm glad you said that.
You know what I mean?
16 minimum. So you're looking for 16 minimum.
Keep in mind in a few weeks' time when we do the show the week before Brentford, hopefully we've got the 12 points before that, the week before Everton, that we bring this up and we while we're confident going into it, the records, I do respect records in this league. That's why I'm concerned about Spurs games, because we own them. Do you know what I mean?
I'm writing this all down. I'm writing this all down. Yeah. AJ, how about AJ's already said 18 points, 15 minimum.
I said 15.
Jimmy, 15 minimum. Jimmy, how about you, bro? What's the minimum? amount of points that you want to see in this running, bro?
14. That's the space for a draw and a loss.
So 14, yeah? All right, cool. Couch, how about you, bro?
I don't really have a prediction, to be honest. This is the evaluation period for
No
me.
prediction. What's your expectation, bro? Based on those fixtures there, what's the amount of points that you need?
You gotta hear it, Couch.
Yeah,
Don't go
yeah,
on
bro.
this.
We have the expectation.
Say it.
Nah.
Oh my
not gonna do
gosh,
that.
this guy.
But
bro.
I will say this. Here. This period of games is where I'm gonna evaluate what happens with the squad going forward. Like if we come out of it rosy, then yeah, there's something to build on there going into the next fixtures. But you guys know me, I'm one game at a time, man. I can't be looking like one game and then we don't even know who's gonna be healthy for the first game, let alone 3-4 games from now. So
yeah, but bro, we've got this. Come on, man. Listen, we got to look at it. We've got to look at the squad. We've got to look at what we have right now, and we've got to make predictions based off of that. And we have to have expectations, Couch, because right now we are going into a period where statistically we have the easiest fixtures in the next 10 games, right? So I'm not saying to you we must win every single game, because realistically we're probably going to drop points. But how much do you want to see as a minimum based off who we're going to play? What's the minimum amount of points that is acceptable for you going forward, bro?
If you're gonna force me to say something, I'm gonna say 10 points. All right, 10 points.
10 points minimum, yeah. Nina, have you thought about what you want to see minimum? Because I can't be. The reason why I'm asking, I can't be seeing these teams. The reason why I'm asking, Nina, I can't be seeing these teams and then be expecting, I'll take 9 points. Nah, bro, I don't want to be seeing that shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
Our expectations are different, and like I said, I hear Andrew with what he said about Everton and Brentford, because these games would have tripped us up. They did trip us up. The results have shown in the last couple seasons we've really struggled. We got beaten home and away by Southampton when they were in the league. We've really, really struggled. So to win these games, you look at and you think they are easy, and they're easy any other year, right, when you're at the top of your game. But we're coming back. These games now should be winnable. We have the quality again. There's so much depth in that squad. That shouldn't be a factor, really, even if, God forbid, we get some injuries in certain areas, because even that's going to be inevitable at some point in the season, sadly. Even that's an improvement, guys. Like, do you remember last season we'd go into games and we'd pull up the injury list? There'd be about 10, 11, a whole squad on there. And now, we're fortunate enough to be able to have players fit. So if that continues, that's going to be a real factor, because let's not forget
what I said about Poch being true.
Hey?
It's almost what I said last year about Poch being true, that he was a major cause of these injuries, or stuff like that with his antiquated training method.
No, he was.
No. Just thought he was. I just thought him and them, because we've got a new medical team as well, right? So we got a
we did.
Or they really done that. So I just think Maresca's not you must run for 2 hours straight in every training session. Do you know what I mean? Like some of the old guys. But
he's good at managing players' minutes so well. Like if a player's
that's what I said about not rushing Sancho back. That's what I said about not rushing Sancho.
That's also down to the medical staff, by the way. Very much.
Right. So. Yeah. So he's probably
like they put together recovery routines, right? It's not the manager that put together the recovery routines.
He's probably doing an unfamiliar thing of actually listening to his medical stuff, unlike the previous manager. So
110%. For me, people, I'm saying minimum 15 points, like AJ. Minimum, right? I don't want to be seeing us coming out of this with 12 points and 10 points, like what Couch is saying. Because honestly, bro, if we get 10 points, we're gonna drop in the table. We're gonna drop
so far back.
Yeah, we're gonna be. We need to make sure that
based on what? Based on
other teams winning their games.
So how do you know they're gonna win their games? Like, what are you basing that on?
Now, bro, I need to make sure that we get our job done. So we don't give them the opportunity to do that.
The way the season's been going, we haven't been taking maximum points and we're third. Like, what do you mean? If you're basing it on this going, everyone's dropping points.
But if there's 18 points up to grabs and we dropped 8 points, you understand? Mm-hmm. Those teams are probably not, especially Arsenal. Who else is around there?
Especially Arsenal. How many points they've dropped?
What you mean?
Yeah, but fuck them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's I think we need to take that step. 10 points would be some Pochettino. It wouldn't match our progress of the season.
Guys, I'm not as concerned as you guys about the points taken in the next 18. So I gave you a number.
What? This is the best part of it. This is the best part of the season for us to get the points.
I go one game at a time, and I evaluate one game at a time. So you guys,
those games gonna add up, though, brother.
I'm listening to you guys. You guys tell me 18 points, 15 points. Somebody said 14 points. That's cool. I'm more watching at this.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But people, listen.
So what happens if you don't get 15 points? What happens then,
bro? We'll evaluate what happens.
How would you feel if we got 10 points? After we actually get 10 points, you think you would feel good?
What do you mean? Would I feel good? I don't feel good after not winning a game.
Just answer the question, dog.
I just did. What are you talking about? I just answered it for you.
So okay.
15. So what happens if we don't get 15 points? How are you?
I think it's an underwhelming performance.
Underwhelming. 15 points from 18 is underwhelming. Wow.
You said if we don't get 15.
No. So if we get 15, so if we don't get 15 points, so if we get 14 points, like Jimmy said, that's underwhelming for you.
Yeah, for me. What's wrong with that?
Hey.
Especially against the teams we're playing. Yeah, I think
set the bar high. Set the bar high. Why not?
Hey,
we need to right wrongs, Couch. We need to right some wrongs, man. We went Everton away last year. We fucking lost. Brentford beat us last year.
The first time.
You know what I'm saying? We need to right some wrongs. You know what I mean? We need to start blowing teams away as well this period, man.
You know what the funny thing is? Like Andrew mentioned it. Like these are bogey teams for us traditionally anyway. So like when you're talking about like we have to set the rights from wrong last year, these are not wrongs from last year. These are wrongs from like 5-10 years ago. Like we've been
losing a new team.
It's time for it to end.
Every year
trying to live in it.
Every time, it's like okay. I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys, you won't see anything under 15 points. I love it.
I didn't see you see that you changing everything that we're saying.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? But listen, we've still got 267 people in the house. Make sure you lot are still smashing up the lights. Nina, love for coming on, man. Let them know where they can find you.
Thanks for having me on, Don. Good to be back and everyone on the panel as well. Nina's Chelsea Corner. It's on the screen. If you can sub, I make Chelsea content. That'd be much appreciated, guys.
Yeah, and it's in the description as well, people. Make sure you're subscribing. Couch, as always, love for hopping on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a good chat with you guys once again. It's always good to talk about Chelsea in a way that we're, on the up and up. We're feeling good about where we are right now. It's always difficult to have conversations where you're talking about, this manager and this player and that. Like, I'd rather just talk about the good things about this club. So let's keep that moving. It's Couch Critic. It's here on YouTube, and it's like and subscribe in the chat, and we'll keep it moving from there.
Yeah, love my bro, man. AJ, love for hopping on, man.
Yes, sir. Big up another episode. Big up the chat. Nina, nice meeting you.
And you.
Yes. Just find me on TikTok, NYC Chelsea Blues. You catch me on Don's channel weekly. And Gem's channel. And we go from there.
Big up, man. And Winter Surfer, love for hopping on as always, my G.
Yeah. Say subscribe to everyone and also this channel. Share, like. I'll tweet out what I'm on. Follow me from there. And I agree with Couch. I like this conversation more about how many points we're going to get instead of last season when we're going to go, we might get points here. We're not going to get points there. We're not going to get points here. We're going to lose here. I'd rather have this conversation than last year. So, we're on the up. Let's now, like I said previously, let's become flat track bullies because we'll get loads more points if we're flat track bullies. So let's do that. Start with Leicester.
100%, man. 100%. Let's see who's going live right now. I think there's a few people. You got Hooks. Oh yeah, Hooks is going live. Oh yeah, with Lewis. Yeah. Okay, saying that. We're gonna redirect to Hooks' channel, people. Make sure you put in their Don raid. But listen, more content to come this week. Definitely gonna be a preview before the Leicester game. I'm actually gonna be at the game. So people, my review will come like when I get back home and that. I'll make sure I'll leave one out there. But we need to fucking make sure we start the weekend well, so we can just sit back. Hopefully watch these Gooners lose their heads again. You know what I mean? Hopefully we see Amorim lose his first game as well. And we just need to pray that Man City keep losing. You know what I mean? We need to catch them. We must.
Southampton miracle. That's how
We want Liverpool to lose too. We want Liverpool to lose too.
And Liverpool to lose too as well.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
let's put that out there too.
More than anybody, Liverpool for me.
Yeah.
Make sure you lot are saying Don Raid in Hooks' chat as well, man. In a bit.
Big up.
Up the fucking Chels.